Vitali says, what does can think from first principles mean? It's a very good question. I'm tempted to answer it myself. I'll give a broad idea, and then I think I'll let Elon Musk explain it because he's the one who's famous for talking about first principles. Essentially, we often get inside of these little bubbles where what people do is accepted. We just accept the norms and we say, okay, I'm an engineer. I'm going to solve problems the way that my teachers taught me and the person who trained me taught me. And that's how we do things. And sometimes getting into that way of doing it is good because it can make your work efficient, but not so good because it can make you miss the big picture. And if you start from first principles, you have to ask yourself, what basically am I doing here? So in my case, I teach English, and we could get into the detailed stuff. We could talk about the phonemes and get all wrapped up in the symbols of the characters and the grammatical explanations and all of that. Okay. Step back. First principles. What are we doing? I'm trying to help you improve the way that you make sounds with your mouth so that you can influence the world better. That's what I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. Forget about English even. I'm just trying to help you make better mouth noises so that you are more powerful in the world. That's my mission in life, right? So that's kind of first principles thinking. But let's watch this video by Elon Musk is explaining this.
I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing.
Me too type ideas.
Yeah,
Slight
iterations
take,
on a theme, and it's because it's kind of mentally easier to reason by analogy rather than from first principles.
He's saying reason by analogy, so you make examples of things. He's saying understand what it is.
But by first principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there. That takes a lot more mental energy.
Give me an example of that. Like, what's one thing that you've done that on that you feel has worked for you?
Sure. So somebody could say, in fact people do, that battery packs are really expensive and that's just the way they'll always be, because that's the way they've been in the past. You're like, well, no, that's pretty dumb, because if you applied that reasoning to anything new, then you wouldn't be able to ever get to that new thing.
Right.
It's like you can't say, horses, nobody wants a car because horses are great and we're used to them and they can eat grass and there's lots of grass all over the place, and there's no gasoline that people can buy, so people are never going to get cars.
Right.
People did say that, and for batteries, they would say, it's going to cost, historically it's cost $600 per kilowatt hour, and so it's not going to be much better than that in the future. And you say, no, okay, well, what are the batteries made of? So first principles would be to say, okay, what are the material constituents of the batteries? What is the spot market value of the material constituents? So you can say, okay, it's got cobalt, nickel, aluminum.
Okay, he's getting a little technical, but I think the basic idea is really just don't look at history, don't look at the past and how things are done. Understand basically what's going on here without any knowledge, like you're an alien. Look at it like you're an alien. from another planet who doesn't know anything? What is basically this? And then start making decisions or understand it. I think that's a good way to look at things. You can't look at it that way all the time, but it can be, I think, very helpful.